Starbeck in Bloom holds its award ceremony in September each year. It is at this ceremony that a review of the year's activities is given by the chairman, Elliot Clark.
So pleased to see so many of you here tonight. Starbeck in Bloom is very apt, I think, for Starbeck this year, as everything has looked absolutely marvellous. In spite of all the wet weather, all the hanging baskets and barrier baskets have looked wonderful. Starbeck in Bloom, our year starts in the autumn really with the planting of daffodils. Now this year we planted another 1,500 daffodils on Benmore Field, and this was with the help of the Boys and Girls Brigade. I would like at this time to tell you all about the school, because the school have started a gardening club, and at the front of the school, behind the War Memorial, there's been a marvellous garden throughout the year. Now to start off with, we had 30 children all came to help. All the old roses were dug out, and the children wanted something in the shape of angels. So we planted 3 angels there with 200 primulas, and how marvellous they all looked.
Apart from ensuring the very best in floral displays, Britain in Bloom entrants are also judged on the overall impression gained by the judges when they visit an area. Cleanliness, tidiness, and a general feeling of caring scores highly with the judges. It is with this very important aspect of the competition in mind that the Starbeck in Bloom Committee work hard with the local community to ensure that all parts of the area meet these high standards. Apart from individuals, members of a number of local groups and organisations become involved in this aspect of the competition. The brownies play a major part in this clean-up operation prior to the judging and gain much pleasure from the experience. Prior to the spring judging, the Starbeck in Bloom Committee were presented with a banner by 4 ladies from the Starbeck Methodist Church. Elaine Noel, Dorothy Sigsworth, Doreen Thompson and Seawan Wilkinson are to be congratulated on their skill, hard work and generosity in donating this extremely attractive piece of needlework to Starbeck in Bloom. It was on the 30th of March that the banner had its first public viewing, when Martin Burnhill and Steve Wilson, both experienced Britain in Bloom judges, undertook this year's spring judging. The committee are most grateful to Benfield Ford for the loan of a people carrier to transport the judges and officials to the various locations in the area. The first port of call was Spa Mews, where they were greeted by a magnificent display of spring flora. Prospect Park caught the imagination of the judges with the sculpture of a man on a bicycle creating much interest. well-kept station platform were next on the list, well maintained as usual by the Women's Institute. The agricultural aspect of the area were not forgotten, with a visit to the allotments on Forest Avenue. One enterprising gentleman was impervious to the judging taking place close by. The Starbeck sign at the junction of Hookstone Chase and Forest Lane was seen at its best, with a profusion of daffodils gently swaying in the breeze as traffic rumbled by. A visit to a more residential area at Forest Lane Head gave the judges the opportunity to see how local residents take pride in the area's appearance. The hard work put in by the pupils at Starbeck Primary School Gardening Club greatly impressed the judges. Springwater School for the Disabled, lower down High Street, was also well appreciated by the judges. A visit to the library on the avenue took the judges past the neat but as yet immature rose beds at Belmont Park. This was the termination of the tour, after which the judges were offered refreshments at St Andrew's Church. From their comments, they appeared to be well impressed with their visit.
Stephen, I thoroughly enjoyed our visit to Starbeck this morning. It's the first time I've actually judged it after many years of being involved in Yorkshire in Bloom, but I think the word we certainly go away with this morning is inspiration for those people out there who may wish to do something in their community. Starbeck couldn't be a better place for that to take place.
And I'm amazed at the amount of community spirit there is in such a small area.
Some 4 months later, on the 9th of July, it was time for the summer judging. The committee officials were pleased to welcome the Mayor of Harrogate, Councillor Mrs Margaret Ann de Courcy Bailey, to meet the 2 ladies appointed to adjudicate on this occasion, Pat Baker and Karen Reynard. Mention here must be made of the support the Starbeck in Bloom Committee received from the Harrogate Borough Council, particularly from Sue Wood, who is ever present on these occasions to offer her unflinching support. Once again, the judges follow a familiar route around the area. This occasion, however, they were introduced to the grounds of Ravenscroft, a sheltered housing complex on High Street, which had entered the local garden competition for the first time. This proved to be a welcomed and attractive addition to the route. On this occasion, the visit to Starbeck Primary School gave the judges the opportunity to talk to the pupils that had worked so hard on the various gardening projects within the school grounds.
And this area will be a quiet area.
Saturday, the 24th of July, was the day chosen for the Starbeck in Bloom garden competition, and once again this was well patronised by local residents. The highlight of the year must be the annual fruit and vegetable show at the Methodist Church. Once again there was a record number of entries, surprising considering the state of the weather during the year. The show promotes numerous categories. Not only flowers and vegetables are on display, but also embroidery, homemade cakes and other produce. A special section for children attracted numerous delightful entries in the miniature garden contest.
Just to get a sort of professional feel.
Chairman Elliot Clark introduced the mayor, who had agreed to open the show.
Who would have thought in 2000 our first fruit and vegetable show that 5 years hence we will still be going, and it gets better and better. In spite of all the bad weather we've had, this year we have 288 entries, which is absolutely wonderful. My thanks go very much to the judges who've had a really difficult job when you see all the different produce and vegetables they've had to judge. They've done a marvellous job. None of this gets set up by itself, and again I would like to thank all our helpers, because after all there's over 30 tables to set out, which we did yesterday in about an hour and a half, which is absolutely wonderful. So my very sincere thanks to everyone. They really are friends of Starbeck in Bloom. Again, I would like to thank our Taylor's Tea, who've again supported us once more with sponsorship and provided all the tea and biscuits, etc. We're very, very grateful to them. Every year when we've introduced our fruit and vegetable show, it's always been my very, very great pleasure to introduce the Mayor. Today it's no exception. Someone who has taken a great interest in Starbeck, follows us wherever we go, and it's my very great pleasure to introduce our new Mayor, Andy Causey-Bailey. Thank you very much indeed.
Very much for that kind welcome, Elliot. It is an enormous pleasure to be here, and I'm pleased to have been able to accept your invitation. It's lovely to be back in the middle of Starbeck again, of course, but it's particularly pleasant to come to an occasion like this. I am staggered that anybody has managed to produce anything in the way of flowers or fruit or vegetable this year. I think the weather has been awful. Even in my own tiny little garden, a whole branch has been knocked off one of the hydrangeas in the last heavy downpour rain. It must have been just got into the flower and broken it off. And I've never known that to happen to a hydrangea before. I am very impressed by the look of all the vegetables. The only thing I can think that would have grown without any problem this year would have been a watermelon. Have you got a watermelon? No, not yet. Any time now, though, I can see England becoming the centre for watermelon. So it is my enormous pleasure, therefore, to bid you welcome this morning and to declare this fruit and vegetable and produce and handicraft show well and truly open.
The show is a fitting and rewarding climax to the local community's efforts in support of Starbeck in Bloom. Once again, the Prince of Wales Hotel paid host to the annual prize-giving ceremony, the beginning of September. A full attendance ensured a successful evening.
Because each judge is differently. And if you've got lower marks this year than you had last year, don't worry about it. It doesn't mean to say that you've done worse. It's just a different way of marking it. Apart from the first and second and third in some instances, they're not in any particular order. So don't think just because I've read your name out first that it means yours was rubbish. Doesn't mean that at all. Okay, so first of all we have for
the Secretary of Starbeck in Bloom, Christine Stewart, oversaw the distribution of trophies and certificates and thanked all those present for their continued help and support throughout the year.
And if you'd like to just stand still, we have a special prize winning, we have a voucher, 2 vouchers for the Autumn Flower Show, and it goes to the best new entry, and you certainly were. So let's hope you'll be able to use.
At the Yorkshire in Bloom judging at Scarborough, Starbeck gained the runner-up award for 2004. A very creditable achievement
the
for
children's
such a small
classes.
community.
And this year we have our very staunch supporter who supported us right from the beginning. She's terribly embarrassed about it all, is Emma Bliss.
Well done, Starbeck, for another successful year.